Hello and welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're celebrating the launch of our new competition over on Patreon by taking a look at Glum Hippo's puzzle, Melino de Huevos. Yes, I have probably pronounced that incorrectly. I apologise. Google Translate told me what that meant. I think it means snake mill. And yeah, I absolutely adore snake egg logic puzzles, and the Glum Hippo has had the bright idea of combining these with Sudoku in this competition that's running over on Patreon at the moment. And yeah, this obviously this puzzle isn't part of the competition, but it is very much in the spirit of it. And I think Glum Hippo made it as part of a speed setting competition over on the Discord server. I'm not sure if it won the speed setting competition, but apparently it got some great feedback, and Mark tested it and said it is very, very cool. So this is what I'm going to be having a go at today. I have no clue how hard it is, but I'm looking forward to giving it a go in a moment or two's time. What do I have to tell you about first? Oh, I'm going to share a picture with you, actually. We got, a few days ago, I did this wonderful collaboration puzzle called Parity Lines. Have I got it here? I have. Here we go. By Michael Lefkowitz and Marty Sears. Just crazy stuff. Anyway, Gil actually has a pet Lorikeet, and Gil took a picture of said Lorikeet watching me solve the puzzle. So I don't know whether the Lorikeet looks impressed or probably mildly bemused, but a very, very handsome bird indeed. And yeah, I wanted to share that with you. In fact, let's go back. Is there a Lorikeet? I don't think there's any of the parrots in this puzzle are quite as glamorous as Gil's pet Lorikeet, to be honest. Because the blue head. I mean, that is. Is that a Norwegian blue? I don't know what a Norwegian blue looks like. Anyway, Gil, thank you very much for sending us the picture. It amused me. There's a crossword video on the channel this morning, so if you're into your cryptic crossword solving, do check that out. And the only other thing to mention is some birthdays. And there are quite a lot of birthdays today. In fact, I'll start off with a birthday I'm late with, but it's not my fault. Joel, I know it was your birthday. Well, I now know it was your birthday yesterday. Your daughter Sarah did send me an email about this, but she sent it yesterday, quite late on yesterday. So it's really, I'm sorry I didn't sneak that into yesterday's video, but Joel, I hope you had a brilliant birthday with, of course, chocolate cake. Next, I think all the other birthdays are for today. So Chris, your wife Renzi wrote to us and said you'd appreciate a shout out, so I hope you have a great day today with cake, of course. Next, Jack, from your partner, Siesha. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I know it's an Irish name, beautiful name, but I could be butchering the pronunciation as well. But Jack, many happy returns. Iris, you've turned 29 today, and I know this because your boyfriend Alex wrote to us. Alex said that you've been in a long-distance relationship for a while, and you used Discord to solve the puzzles together while watching the videos, and he wanted to send you a lot of love and ask me for a chocolate cake endorsement, which I'm happy to provide. I mean, I haven't seen the chocolate cake you're getting, Iris, but I imagine it will be a good one. Next, Stephanie, over there in Vancouver, Washington. There are 2 Vancouvers, I know this. One in the US, one in Canada. This is the Washington State one. And Stephanie, your husband Mark wrote to us and revealed somewhat cryptically that you are older than the secret. Now, that does leave quite a lot of scope for your actual age. I'm going to guess it's 46, and I hope I'm right. Stephanie, many happy returns. And then finally, Steve, you've turned the big 50 today, and I know this because your wife Julia wrote in and said that she is sorting you out the chocolate cake for today. So, Steve, I hope you have a brilliant 50th birthday. Many, many happy returns. And that's all the news. So, now we get on with some Sudoku solving, and I get to do a snake egg Sudoku. Fantastic stuff. These are the rules of Glum Hippo's puzzle. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so that means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Then we have to draw a snake where, okay, I don't know if we know where the head or the tail of the snake is, but we'll find out. Draw a snake, one cell, which has a 1 cell wide path into the grid which does not touch itself orthogonally. So that means that if we were drawing a snake like this, we could, I think, that could be a snake, because this snake, it does touch itself, but only at a point here. It doesn't touch itself along an edge. So if we change the shape of the snake to be like that, that's too naughty for words, because the snake, look, the snake has touched itself here orthogonally, and it's not allowed to do that. Areas, now this is the snake egg rule. It's really simple, but really lovely. Areas not covered by the snake form 8 separate regions of size 1 to 8, the eggs, which in turn may touch one another diagonally, but not orthogonally. So, oh, hang on, I might have I got the picture of, we've got this is the teaser for the Patreon reward, and this might be a better place to look for an example. If we look at the top middle example, you can see that there is, yeah, that's a 9x9 grid into which a snake has been drawn. And if you look at the size of the areas that are not along the snake, you can see that they are divided. The 1 is saying that that area is of size 1. That area of size 1 is completely enclosed by the snake. This 2 is completely enclosed by the snake. This 5 is completely enclosed by the snake. And we have to make sure, in fact this is a great example because it does use 1 to 8. So we have to make sure that however we draw a snake in the grid, I mean, I'm going to make this is going to be a terrible, terrible attempt at this, but I'm going to try. Oh goodness, I think it's already gone wrong. Let's try. How big's that? That's a 6 region. Oh yeah, this is hopeless. I mean, I've messed it up. that's all we can say. But so if this was the snake, let's just work out what I have achieved here. I've got a size 2 region, a size 1 region, a size 6 region, and that's a totally broken region. That's a size 11 region. We're not allowed those. So anyway, it's something like that. There are more rules though. We have got to green line segments separate cells on the snake. Oh no, separate cells on the snake from cells off the snake, and their digits must differ by at least 5. So these are German whispers lines with the additional constraint that if that was snake, this would not be snake, and then that would be snake again, presumably. And there's only one more rule. It says if a circle is in an egg, it gives the count of cells in the egg. If a circle is on the snake, it gives the number of snake cells seen by that circle, including itself. So I'm guessing, that last rule is a sort of cave type rule, but I don't know. So let's just draw a snake in. I'm going to just draw a big S. Let's see. This is just not right, is it? But okay. Let's just focus on that one. That, I think what it's saying is this is a snake cell, and therefore what we need to do is to count the purple cells seen in sort of both directions emanating from this square. And you can see we're only actually going in a horizontal direction here. That one is more interesting in the sense that's at a junction, so that has a sort of vertical component and a horizontal component. This one would be a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It would be a 10, so we're going to shorten the snake. Now it would be a 9. So I think that's how it works. And then if all of these squares, well, actually, this is so utterly broken. How have I managed to produce examples that are so broken here? The reason this is broken is that these would both be off the snake, but they would have the same number in them, because however big this region is, which is far too big, In fact, it's absolutely massive. In fact, it's the whole grid. However many cells, well, 81 minus the number of cells in that snake is what would be written into all those grey ones, so that's clearly not going to be right either. Anyway, I've made an absolute horlicks of the examples, but hopefully I gave you an idea of what you have to do to solve the puzzle. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, I say that without much clue where to start. I'm probably going to start in the top corner because, well, yes, I am actually going to start here, because the rule tells me that let me just double check I understood this rule. Green line segments separate cells. Yeah. Well, the way I read this might be wrong though. Green line segments separate cells on the snake from cells off the snake. That's a single line segment. I think I may, if I manage to solve this puzzle, I may change the wording of this paragraph and also the final paragraph. I'm just worried about people who've never seen a snake egg puzzle before, might not know what seen means, and I am not sure that I'm interpreting this green line segment rule correctly. Separate cells on the snake from cells off the snake. You see, what I'm reading that as, and this might be wrong, is that I'm supposed to treat this as sort of alternating between snake and non-snake. But if that's true, I hope it is, I do know exactly what this is, because this is either a snake cell bounded by eggs. Well, that can't be right, can it? Because then this snake is a very, very short snake. And it never makes an appearance anywhere else in the grid. Or it's the other way round, where that is egg, that is snake. Green line segments separate cells on the snake from cells off the snake. And their digits must differ by at least 5. What else could it mean? Green line segments separate cells on the snake. I mean, it's fine when it's a 2-cell line segment. That is very clear to me what that means. When it's a 3-cell segment, I'm sort of I'm less absolutely certain. I'm pretty sure it means that, but I'm not certain. If it does mean this, I would prefer it to say adjacent cells along a green line must have a snake cell and a non-snake cell, something like that. That way it would be clear. But assuming this interpretation is correct, this must go this way round in order to not have a tiny snake. And that circled cell in the corner would have to be a 1, wouldn't it? Because it would have to be, well, it is of size 1, it's a tiny little egg. Now, by German Whispers rules, and they are applying, these digits here are at least equal to 6, because we need digits that are at least 5 different in value from the digit 1. Now, well, this is quite interesting now, because if we look at this square, row 1, column 2, this has got to have a very significant horizontal component, because it can't go vertically very far. It could go 1 cell, but it can't go 2 cells vertically, because if it does, we're going to get this shape in the grid as the snake. And that is not a snake. That's most certainly not a snake, unless it was a very unfortunate snake. And I think the idea is not to make unfortunate snakes. So this could have a vertical component. but it must have at least 5 horizontal component, because even if it had one more vertical component, then, and this was only a 6, it would still have 5 horizontal components. So we must do that, or we must do exactly the same in column 1 by the symmetrical logic. Right, okay. Well now I must surely be allowed to draw boundaries into all of these squares, because the snake can't branch. So now this cell feels interesting to, yeah, oh, that's it. Okay, yeah. Well done, brain. Brain was sensible. Okay, so this is a trick you often see in sort of cave-type logic puzzles. And the trick is to think about the horizontal component of this square, and to note that whatever the horizontal count of purple is in this row, I haven't got a clue what it's going to be yet, its horizontal component is identical to this one's horizontal component. So if this cell had no vertical component, these would have the same digit, wouldn't they? They would be both counting the number of purple cells along row 1. So we must do that, I think. And what we learn from that is that this digit is exactly 1 different from this digit. And it's 1 less than this digit. So this is 5, 6, 7, or 8. Right, okay, but then this can't be that massive, can it? Because we know that the green lines separate snake cells from non-snake cells. So there's a definite boundary. Let's try and draw in a boundary. What colour should we use to draw? There's definitely a boundary there. There's definitely a boundary there. Assuming we've understood the rules, we can draw all of these boundaries in as sort of delineations of snake from non-snake. So this square, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can only be as high as 6. If it's higher than 6, both of those have to be snake, and that's impossible. So this is 5 or 6, and this is 1 different from it. So this is 6 or 7. There's definitely a 6 in one of those squares, which means this square is not 6. Oh, I like this so far. Right, now look at this square. If that square is grey, then this would be at least a size 7 egg. Oh, I see. So, and we've got something similar to this going on in column 1 as well. Yes, this square is 1 different in size from this one, because this has the vertical components are going to be shared between these 2 circled clues, and this one counts 1 more horizontally than this one has. So this is 6, 7, or 8, which means that we can extend this one further, because it's at least 6 long, which means I can extend this thing 1 further. So now if this is grey, we've got an 8-cell egg. And that would be an 8, wouldn't it? Because it would count the size of this 8. So this would be an 8. This would be snake, but it would be a 1, 2, or a 3. Oh, the radiator's making a strange noise now. That's always one of those things that just terrifies me. I have no understanding of most aspects of plumbing and electricity. So when things make strange noises, oh dear, it worries me. Dear. Well, okay, so what do we do now? Can that be 9? If that no, that can't be 9, because if that was 9, both of these squares would be snake, because we'd have an 8 count vertically and a 1 count horizontally. But then these squares They see 8 vertically, but we can't have any more 8. We can't. Well, this is going to be an 8, isn't it? If that's a 9, this is an 8. So we're going to have to increase the size of these from 8, but not equal 9. And there's just nothing we could make these add up to. Oh, so hang on, is that a problem? Is it a problem to even extend this at all then? If this was 8 and this was 7 and this was purple and that was grey, why does that work? 8, oh, I see, that could now be 9. Okay, oh sorry, I thought I'd spotted something there, but I haven't. Okay, but we can get rid of 9 from here, and we can get rid of 8 from here. So if that's 7, that's fine. If that's 7, that's 6, and that's 5. And then this clue, well then this would be grey, wouldn't it? Ah, okay. If that's... So either the snake... Oh, hang on. I tell you what I've got to be careful about. Where are the heads and tails of the snake? I've not really thought about that yet. I haven't done anything that's assumed that things are not head or tail, have I? I don't think I have, because I don't think I've thought about it. Okay, so I have to. That's the other thing I'm going to have to be careful about. Yeah, okay, well that's quite interesting in this column, isn't it? Because, right, yes, all right. So we can do this column, but not the way I thought. Yeah, this can't end. What do I mean by end? Well, if this now turns so that this is grey, I don't think that can work. Because how are we going to... This can't be a one-size snake egg, because we've already had the one-size snake egg. So this has to grow either to there, or to there, or to both. But what digit are we going to put in this digit is the size of its egg, and if that's grey as well, this digit is also the size of that one's egg, and we're going to get a repeat, and if we make that grey, that's also the size of this one's egg. So we can't do that. That doesn't work. So, okay. So maybe I pushed this one down to here by dint of the fact that this was a big number, and it's a big number because of this cell, not because I was assuming that the head of the snake, or I was assuming the snake had to continue down the column. So that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So it comes to here, and then it must extend, and then it must end. And this has to get out, because it can't be a 1. So that's got to grow. This is now grey to avoid this branching. Now this is where, well, I was about to say this is where we might have to be careful, but in fact this cannot be the head of the snake or the tail of it, because if I grey this square, these two are in the same region, and these two would have the same vertical count, so that I definitely have to extend this. The count on this is 8, I think. That's 8, definitely. The count on this is therefore 7. The count on this is 7 vertically, but it can't be 7 and it can't be 8, so that must be 9, and it must have 2 more as its horizontal component. So this is snake. This is not snake. So that's a 3, just by dint of the count of this, how many cells this sees horizontally. So this is an 8 by dint of whispers, because this has to be 5 different at least from 3. So it's 8 or 9, and it can't be 9. Oh, right, so this is, so this is going to be grey now, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, no. No, it's not grey. It's actually not grey at all. If that's grey, That is of size 9, and that is not allowed. Wow. So this is okay. We found the head of the snake, or the tail of the snake. We found it because we've proved that this square has to be snake, but it's on a thingy. The technical term for a thingy being a German whispers line. So that square is now egg, and this has to get out, so it's got to come to there. Oh, this is lovely as well. So, and this, look, has this got any horizontal component? No. So does this need to have a horizontal component? Yes, otherwise these would have the same number in them. So that's got to turn. This has got to therefore be grey. That's a 2, because that's how many cells it sees. Oh, it's very cute, this glum hippo. Very cute indeed. There's a 9 over here by Sudoku. There's an 8 up here by Sudoku. Can that be an 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, maybe it can. Okay, bobbins, don't know where to look now. Oh, hang on. Yes, look. This is in the same egg as this, so that's an 8. So that could never have said that. So this cell could never have been an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 2 more cells for this to grow. Don't know how to do that. This is at least a size 4 egg. What eggs have we got at the moment? We've got a 1 and an 8. And some number here. And some number here. Yeah, okay, here is a general point that I've just noticed, which I should probably have thought about sooner. But for example, if you look at those 2 squares, at least one of those squares must be snake, mustn't it? Because if they're both grey, they'd have the same number in them. The same is true here. These cannot both be grey. These cannot both be grey. They could both be snake in each of those cases, but they cannot both be grey. Sorry if you can see immediately what I'm meant to be spotting here. At least one of these is snake. Well, doesn't that mean... I'm scared I'm about to say something that's absolute nonsense here. But doesn't that mean the head or the tail of the snake is up here somewhere? I mean, this is obviously one head or tail, but if we know that these can't both be grey, so at least one of these is snake. Now, if exactly one of these is snake, it is the head or the tail of the snake, because it's going to be trapped in. You know, if that's snake and that's grey, then both of these are grey, and this is a head or a tail. And if it's the other way round, and that's like that, then this is clearly a head or a tail. But what about the situation where this is double? These are both snake. Well, even in that situation, we can't extend both of these. It's not possible for both of these to be snake, because the snake's then touching itself. So exactly one of these would have to be snake, and whichever one it was, it's telling us that there's a head or the tail of the snake up here. So there is a head or a tail of the snake here, and there's a head or a tail here. So everything else has to be continuous. So this has to extend, but I don't know which way. Now, let's think about... hang on. Well, oh, I see. Yeah, okay, I do see. Right, so what's this numerically? And what I'm noting that on this whisper there's a high and a low number. That is the nature of German whispers numbers, because the digits on them have to be 5 apart. One side of this line, one side of this red line is going to be a 6, 7, 8 or 9. Not a 6 actually, a 7, 8 or a 9. And one side of it will be a 2, 3 or a 4, not a 1. Now, here's my question. Is it possible for this to be the big digit? I don't know what colour this is, but if this is the big digit, how can that work? Now, we then have to think about what's the nature of this big digit, and we can immediately say, I think this is valid, that it cannot be snake. Because if this is snake, it can see a maximum of 3 cells vertically, because there is a junction here, and it can see a maximum of 1 cell horizontally, so its maximum count as a snake is 4, so it's definitely not snake if it's high. And if it's grey, well then this square has to be snake, because of the red line. But now this has got a whopping great count. This is already a high digit, and that means the German whispers line doesn't work. So this square, and this is the odd thing, it's definitely low, this is definitely high, which makes me want to say that this has got to be snake, because obviously it's got a natural horizontal component. But maybe it could be, I mean, what would happen if it did that, for example? Then it might be able, no, well it doesn't do that, does it? Yeah, because this can't be a head or a tail of the snake. Oh, this is getting quite interesting. So if this was grey, well, the maximum size of a snake egg is 8, and we've found that one over there. So this would be a 7, and then it would grow. This might be fine, actually. This would then be a 2, wouldn't it? Because we need a digit that's 5 away from 7. So that would be 2 and would be snake. I want this. Well, no, but this is this 7 can't join to this. It looks like it wants to, but it can't, because that would make this a head or a tail, that a head or a tail, and we know there's a head or a tail here as well, and we're not making a hydra today, so that's not right. So this has to stay apart from this, which means that has to extend, I suppose. That's the corollary, isn't it? That must extend. This is a size 7 egg. And this 2, maybe I've got to think about the corner. What do I know about the corner? Well, actually, yes, the way this would have to grow, it couldn't go to there and then turn, because it would isolate us a 1-cell sized egg in the corner. So it has to go there and do that. That's absolutely forced. That's definitely grey. That's definitely snake. We're bifurcating a bit here, which I don't like doing, so I'm gonna unwind this any moment now and use my brain in a more rigorous manner. Yeah, I'm unsure whether that's correct or not. Basically, that seems quite plausible. So maybe the actual way of dealing with this then is the other way round. Maybe there's a way of proving this is wrong. Well, no, that's lovely, because that just makes this, because these can't both be grey, that would make a snake. This would grow, this would grow. That would have to grow. Oh, bother. I don't know. I don't know. That's tricky. Okay, so I'm now forming the view that this is not where I meant to look next, which is somewhat surprising. Okay. Okay, this is a high digit, isn't it? I haven't looked at this. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on, what is the high digit in here? It's got to be at least 5 different from 2. And it can't be 8, because this region is clearly not the same region as that. That's a 7. Okay. But hang on, didn't I just... Oh, yeah, oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, Glum Hippo, that is gorgeous. Fair play, that's gorgeous. And I would have spotted it if I'd spotted this, but I have spotted it now. So I want to go back to thinking about whether this is grey, because this is not grey, for a beautiful reason. I love this. Because if this is grey, it's clearly not 8. It can't be 9, because there are no eggs that are a size 9. So it has to be size 7. And that means it has to join up with this, and it can't. Because although you may at first blush go, well, yes, it can, Simon, you naughty man, it can do that. No, it can't. Because this is now a head or a tail, that's a head or a tail, and we know there's a head or a tail there by our logic earlier. So we would create the hydra that we know we're not meant to take. Oh, I love it. I really, really think that's very clever. And that's great, because now that's got to be purple. That's got to be grey. This has to have a vertical component. We know that this is now not able to be grey. So these are the 2 heads and tails. So we should mark this somehow, shouldn't we? How should we do it? No, that's not very visible. We'll give it a blue circle, maybe. This is a head and this is a tail. So that's got to grow. This has got to be at least size 2. So that's got to grow. This has got to get out. This is not a head or a tail, so it has to grow. It can't go there, or the snake touches itself orthogonally, so that's got to get out. 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is now at least 8, but it could grow to here and be 9, I think. If this stops and this is grey, that's a 3 in the corner. If that's grey, that's going to be snake, and that's going to be a 2. That would make that grow down there. Oh, that couldn't be a 3. That would be at least a 5 then. I know these are alternate. Okay, well this is not 4, is it? It's either staying the same size it is, or it's growing to there. It can't grow to here as well, so that's 2 or 3. Which doesn't actually affect what this can be. What about 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, maybe we can do something with this now. That looks very difficult to me. But I might be wrong. Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, this is a bit more tricky to see, but if we look at this line, assuming we understand how it works, those 2 squares are of the same, they're either both egg or they're both snake. Now let's just look at the situation where they're both grey, because this feels very tricky to me. So we've got this size 5 region here. Now we can't take these 2 squares anymore, can we? Because that's once this one joins that pack, we're going to get a size 8 region. And we can't take this square only, because then we can't take this one without joining to this one. So the only way this 7 becomes fulfilled is like that. And that means, what happens to this snake piece? It's got to come in here to frame this 7. And once it does that, it can never get out. That is a new head or tail of the snake, and we have already got the head and the tail of the snake. So this won't work. And that tells us, in fact, these are therefore a snake. So that's egg. Ooh. Okay. That's now got to be... Oh, how big's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there we go. Okay, so in order to make sure that this didn't branch, we had to make this grey, and that's completed this 8 region. So we can frame the 8 region with snake, which means that that square there has got to be grey. This is on a boundary, so that's got to be grey. This must be a corner, because we know the head and the tail are there, so we've got to go up and that way. And now, okay, so now this can't be in, or the snake's doing all sorts of things it shouldn't be doing. So this has to go there to not close the snake. And therefore, the snake has done this, which means this is grey, and that's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its original. The 2's very nice now, if that works properly. Oh, the 7 region is just finished. This has to get out because it can't be a size 1 region. Don't know what that means for this. It's at least a 3. I suspect this might have to be quite a big region. Not sure. This is not a head or a tail of the snake, so the snake continues. Oh, well. That is a 3 by the logic, which says that the circles in... Oh, look, we can just fill these in. That's a 4 by the logic. This is a something by the logic. A 7 by the logic. So that's a 7. That's a 6. This is an 8 by the logic. This is just the purple logic, the way the snake works. Where is 3 in this box? It's got to go there. Where's 3 in that box? It's got to go there. Sudoku all of a sudden. I mean, it is outrageous. It's outrageous when these constructors of Sudoku puzzles make me do Sudoku in their Sudoku puzzles. I don't like that at all. No, a 9 is in one of those squares, so more Sudoku. Have we... Okay. Well, okay, yeah. Now, something I noticed before is that that's the 2 egg. So this is not a 2 egg, so it has to grow. And it can't be a 3 egg here, because then it would have 2 3s in the box, so that's got to grow again. So now this is at least a 6 egg. And it is a 6 egg, because we've had the 7 and the 8 egg. So both of those are 6s. This egg must be fenced in. This is not the end of the snake, so the snake turns. That becomes egg. The snake's got to continue somehow. So the snake's broad structure is it goes round here, boom, 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 and now all our job is just to connect these ends together. That's got to be snake. Sorry, egg. I think I said snake and I meant egg. This digit we know. That is another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 4. There's a 6 up here, look, by Sudoku. These squares are 1, 5, and 7. So these squares are 2 and 4. And... Okay, let's take another audit. What have we had? Because we've had all of the big eggs, I think. We've had 6, 7, and 8, and 1 and 2. So we haven't had 3, 4, and 5. So, right, so these squares are from 3, 4, and 5, and that's not 3 or 4. In fact, that's 5. So that one, no, that cannot join this shape. It's too big. So this one's 3 then. Because it can't join that egg without being much bigger than it's meant to be. So it's not 5 and it's not 4, so that's 3. Oh, which is gorgeous, because now that's finished. So now we can extend the snake, don't let the snake touch itself. So the snake comes down column 9. And we haven't had the 4, well, oh, we haven't had the 4 egg, but the 4 egg doesn't have to have a circle in it, presumably. Or does it? Let's have a look at the rules. No, I don't think it does. It says if a circle is in an egg, it gives the count. So we can... Well, if that was... Okay, yeah. Let's look at this square. If this square was not part of the 5, it would be part of the 4 egg, because that's all we've got left. And that 4 egg could not touch this 5 egg, so it would have to come down here. And now the 5 egg couldn't finish. There wouldn't be cells it could take that wouldn't connect it to the 4 egg. So this is actually part of the 5 egg, which means it takes that square. All of those squares become snake. That is our snake done, and it leaves behind beautifully a 4 egg with a circle. So that's a 4, that's a 2, that's a 2, that's going to be a digit that we can get. That's a 5, I think. These 2 digits are 4 and 9, I want to say. And these squares are 1, 5 and something, 6 possibly. 1, 6 come out of there. This is not 5 by Sudoku. We should be able to, well, we can just fill in all the circles. This is a 1 by Sudoku. So in this row we've not put in 4, 7 and 8. I'm just going to label those up. This is a 4, so that's very helpful. That immediately sorts that out. There's a 4 up here by Sudoku. This circle should be gettable. That should be a 5, I think. Slightly worrying, but no, okay, seems okay. So all our circles are done. All your bases belong to us. And all that remains is the terrifying Sudoku problem. So 2, 6 and 9 into those squares, with that not being a 2. Oh, I've not even looked at this German whisper. That's probably where we should look now. Right, so how are we going to do that? Well, actually I'm not sure. Maybe it's, I don't think, I mean obviously if this is a low digit it has to be a 2. And then that would make that a 1, so this would be a 2 and a 1. And this would be high and would be 7 or 9. And that looks perfectly possible. There might be a reason that doesn't work, but I'm not seeing it. Oh look, that's a 9 actually. It can't be 8. By dint of the fact that Sudoku is affecting it. So that's a 9 and that's a 4. So that's a 4. Maybe we do Sudoku up here before we worry about this line. What else do we need? We need a 5. We need 1, 6 and 7. So that's a 7. That's a 1 and that's a 6. Yeah, okay, that's good. And that's a 6 because it's not a 9. So this is a 9, and now we need 1, 7 and 8 in this column, so let's just label it up and hope something comes to our rescue, but it's not going to. 6 here gives us a 6-5 resolution. It's starting to get a bit more constrained perhaps. What about those squares? They're a 3-8 pair, aren't they? So that's definitely a 6. These 2 squares are a 1, 2 pair, and these squares are 4, 9 and 5. So that's a naked single, that's a 9 because it sees the 4, 5 pair. So this is 4, this is 5. Now we just need a bit of help here. That's 5 now. So this is 2, 8 and 9. So this is 2 or 8 and this is 2, 8 or 9. Ah, that's very annoying. Maybe try this column then. 1, 2 and 8. Oh, yeah, there was the 1, 2 pair, look, so that's an 8. So this is an 8 in the corner, which means this is an 8, this is a 7. This is a 2, it can't be 9, so that's 9, that's 2, that's 8, that's 3, that's 8, that is 9, and that tells us the parity of the whisper. Thank goodness for that. So we now know this is 7, because it's got to be the same highness or lowness as this. So it's from 6, 7, 8 or 9, and by Sudoku it's 7. And this is a low digit, which is a 1 or a 2, which is unresolved. In this column, we've not put in 3s and 7s. Which bizarrely, oh well, it's going to be resolved by this 1, 7 pair, so that's got to be 3, that's got to be 7. This is a 1, 2 pair, which again is resolved by that 1, 7 pair. So that digit is now a 3, I believe. If we haven't made an error, that's a 6. And something, oh no. Hang on, this is broken, isn't it? I don't like this at all. This is absolutely deadly. Uh-oh. I mean, this is also deadly, so I have definitely made an error. Unless there's a rule I've forgotten. That is possible. Or maybe that first interpretation of this line was incorrect. Because the whisper is not going to fix whether this is 1 or 2. 1 and 2 are both at least 5 away from 9 and 7. What could I have missed here? Let me just go back to the rules. I think it's only circles though, isn't it? That there was no restriction on the other digits. So there's something very bad has gone wrong here. But I'm a bit nervous about leaving this, sort of unwinding now. I mean, the most likely place I've made an error. Oh, what I probably need to do. Oh, goodness, there, I found it. I've got 4 written in here. That's not right. That sees 5. Well, that's it. Okay, good. How long ago was that? No. Oh, no. No. What the blazes? Oh, goodness me, it was miles away. I mean, okay, this is going to be challenging. I mean, it was, oh, there. I wrote 5 and changed it to 4? Why did I do that? That's insane. Some people sort of say, oh, got lucky again. Well, this isn't very lucky. Why? What did I do? I changed that to 4. Insanely. Okay, well, we know where the error is. It's there. Isn't it amazing that just went through? So that's 6, that's 7. Oh, at least this is done. Okay, so that survives. I think probably, although that felt like a long, and it was a long backtrack, I suspect a lot of the logic is not going to be terribly hard for us to find. Yeah, remember this? That has to grow, doesn't it? Which means it is getting connected out here again. That still can't be 7 or 8, so that still gets locked in there. This is still not the head or the tail, so we can still do all of this the same as before. Those 2 squares still become 6s. These squares become 4s, 5s and 9s. That's different from before, isn't it? I'm not sure, actually. Maybe I'm just going mad. These squares are 1... No, they're not. Be careful, Simon. They're 2, 4 and 5. Okay, though I should be able to get this square. That's a 6, and I think it was a 6 last time. That's on a whisper, so that's a 1. This is a 1. I don't think I did that 6-1 thing last time, did I or not? I must have done. 5 in the middle box can't go on the whisper line. That's actually nice logic that would have been available. Oh, so now 7 is in one of these two squares. So actually, that's lovely. Because 7 is on the whisper and 1 isn't, this must be a 2-7 pair. That's just very, very cute logic. So this is 4, 8, 9. And these are 2, 3, 6 into these squares. And that can't be 2. Or 6, because we've already had the 6. So that's 3, which pens in this. Oh, it's even smoother when you do it the proper way. Does that become a 5 again? Because it was a 5 last time. What's that? That is a 4. So that's definitely not a 4. That's definitely grey, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. So we're still left with 4 and the 5 snake egg, I think. But I remember last time, oh, well, yeah, okay, so this is a 5. Because it sees a 4 in its box. That's definitely snake. Egg, because this can't branch. So that actually this just completes itself. So those all have to turn into snake. That does give us the same egg at the bottom. So not very little is changing, which I shouldn't be surprised about, I suppose. Those two squares are not able to be 3s anymore. This square, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 5. Can't put 5 on a German whispers line. So this has to be a 9. We did that logic last time. This has to be a 4, doesn't it? Because we're just counting that. And in this row, we've not put in 6 and 9. So we can put 9 there, we can put 6 there, we can put 2 there, we can put 6 there. These squares are 2, 4 and 9. I'm going to write them all in. And hope. Well, I don't know. This is 7 and 8. There is a 4 in one of those squares by Sudoku. There is a 5 exactly here by Sudoku. Look, that's a 2, 4 pair, so that becomes a 5. That's a 4, 9 pair, so this becomes 2, 4, 2, 9. That's going to be a 4 by pencil marking. We need 1 and 7. Imagine if it goes wrong again. That 1, 7 isn't in the same place, though, this time, which I suppose is better. This is definitely a high digit on the whisper, so the whisper must go that way round. This digit is not 9. That 9 there gives me a bit more. Oh, I'm very sorry about this, Glum Hippo, but I still think, well, I've still had a ball for solving it. It's still incredibly clever. I think I could have done it a bit quicker. That's my main point for my own glumness. Now 1 is in one of these squares. Look, 1 is in one of those squares. That's going to be a 9 just by Sudoku. Yeah, 1, 7, 8. That feels familiar, doesn't it? What about this column? 1s and 2s. So nearly. This is 8 comes out of this square. 1, 3, 7 here. Let's just pencil mark it up. Oh, well, that's a 3. C's 1 and 7. So in this column, yeah, it is unsurprisingly, it's unwinding slightly differently. So 2, 6 and 8 into this column. And that's not 8. And this is not 2. And that is not 6. Okay. Where should we look now? Where's the easiest place for a win? There is a 2 down here. That's not the win we were looking for. This square here is 1, 7 or 8. Which again is not the win we're looking for, is it? Maybe we try, well, I'm unsure. Oh, there's a 3 down. There's a 3 there, in fact, exactly there. So 167 in this column. No, it's still not quite resolved. You take 7 out from that square. This is 127. This is 278 in the corner. Have I definitely used all the clues? I probably have. 1368. Ah, that's a 6 or an 8. So that's a 6-8 pair apparently. So that becomes a 1. This must be a 3. So this square is a 1 or a 7, and it's not a 7, so that's a 1, that's a 2, that's a 1, that's a 7, that's a 1, that's 1, that's 7. This is now 8. 8 and 7 go into the grid. Okay, good. This is an 8 by Sudoku. 2, 7, 6, 7, 6, 8, 6. No, be careful. 4, I think. That should be a something. 2. Oh, okay, the puzzle's finished now. Hopefully. Wow. Oh, not many people have solved it. But that was extremely enjoyable. Even with my Lorikeet, that was a bit terrifying, wasn't it? And it was. Yeah, all the comments are going to be, you put the wrong digit in. Well, you're right, I did, but thankfully, and I do mean thankfully, because some people, you know, there have been videos where we've got to the end of the puzzle and people spot an incorrect piece of logic and they accuse us of being lucky. It isn't lucky. It is not lucky to get you know, hundreds of people telling you you're an idiot. Whereas at least this way round, I've found a logical way through it, and although it could still absolutely be levelled at me that I was something of an idiot, I feel less of an idiot than if I had done or got to the final answer in an illogical way. But I hope you can agree, snake egg puzzles, how cool are they? And this was a great. I mean, this was pretty. It was pretty involved, but in a beautiful way. And yeah, there was a lot of magical bits. I mean, it's just a very clever puzzle, frankly, Dom Hippo. It's a very clever puzzle, and I loved many of the ways that it resolved itself. So thank you for watching. Let me have it now. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.